as the Thunder try to close out the Spurs on the road in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. The defending champs have withstood an early deficit in the series to bounce back, while the Spurs trying to keep their season alive. OKC held Wemby in check in Game 5, got huge contributions from the bench with Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell out. Tim McMahon is on the scene in San Antonio covering the defending champs and joins us now. How are the Thunder approaching tonight's potential closeout game on the road here in San Antonio against the Spurs?
Howdy, Kevin. They better approach it a lot better than they did Game 4. And look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander said their season's on the line. We've got to understand that. That's essentially what they felt in Game 4 when the Spurs play with that kind of desperation. They punched the Thunder in the face early. They established a tone of being physical, and the Thunder just didn't play with the kind of force they needed to respond to that. The result was OKC's worst offensive performance in more than 5 years, since the Thunder, frankly, were a tanking team. And so they understand they are going to get the best punch from the Spurs tonight. They've got to respond. They've got to be able to withstand what's going to maybe be an early run, what's going to be a rocking arena. They've got to keep their composure, but again, they've also got to, be ready for a fight.
You mentioned it too, specifically what we saw in Game 4 in San Antonio, where the Thunder scored just 82 points, their fewest in any game in the last 6 years. Tim, thank you so much.
So the Spurs have gone as Wemby has gone this postseason. Wemby is averaging twice as many points per game in wins as he is in San Antonio's losses in these playoffs. He's also averaging over 4 fewer rebounds per game in those losses. We stay on the scene with our Spurs reporter, Michael C. Wright. So, Michael, Wemby and the Spurs are trying to extend the series. What is the team saying about getting him going in this make-or-break game?
Well, as you said, the Spurs go as Victor Wembanyama goes. And after Game 5, Coach Mitch Johnson, he said, look, Victor needs to have more than just 15 shots. He needs to have more than 20 for us to have a chance to win against the defending champions. Stephon Castle, he talked about just Victor is trying to play the game the right way and, make the right basketball play. He said, but at the same time, we need you to be aggressive, because when Victor is aggressive, that opens up shots for everybody else. Now, look, Victor's sort of learning right now. He's going through a whole experience here. Over the last 5 games, he's played more minutes than he's ever played in the 5-game span in his entire career. So he's going to have to fight through the exhaustion, the fatigue, to see if he can do something against these defending champs.
All right, despite trailing in this series, the Spurs are 3.5-point favorites tonight at home. Michael, thank you.
We got some breaking news on SportsCenter. The NBA Board of Governors has approved the 3-2-1 lottery reform proposal to curb tanking. Now, the new system gives the bottom 3 teams only 2 ping pong balls, while the 4 to 10 teams get 3. It also expands the lottery to 16 teams. Wow, NBA insider Shams Charania has much more on this storyline. Shams, an unprecedented move here from the NBA and the Board of Governors. What other details can you share about the changes coming to the draft lottery? Okay, right now we are having some technical difficulties with Shams Charania at the moment in San Antonio. If we get him, we'll go back to him. I want the context. Today's vote was 29-1. The Grizzlies voted against the reform. Hopefully we get Shams back to continue the conversation. C-Dub, take it away.
All right, Kev, if you scroll a little on social media, you'll probably see a number of videos of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hitting the court. Some are pointing out that he seems to go down every time he shoots. One might call it selling the call. Others might call it flopping. Whatever you name it, even Commissioner Adam Silver says the league is looking at the flop versus foul issue. Now, SGA has not been shooting his best as of late, 37% over his last 3 games, under 50% in 3 straight for the first time in his entire career. But it hasn't slowed down his scoring production thanks to his ability to get to the line. 35 made free throws in his last 3, including 16 in Game 5, tied for the 3rd most in a playoff game in Thunder history. For more, let's bring in NBA insider Brian Windhorst. I feel like you're here, right, Brian? Best dressed guy on the show, by the way. What's your take on whether or not SGA is flopping or getting foul calls?
Yes, of course he is. And he's doing it because he's in the absolute fight of his life against Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama, two of the best combination defenders we've seen in the modern era. He's missing a couple of guards, and he's in a dogfight every single night. And the league will tell you that you can get rewarded for this. He is simply reacting to what he is rewarded for. This is how the league is operating right now. They allow push-offs, which he does expertly, and then they will often reward falling down with foul calls. It happens throughout players across the league. Shai just happens to be very, very good at it. He's also very good at about 15 other things. And if they change the rules next year and take away that arm truck that's allowed and tighten up the exaggeration rules, you say flopping, I'll say exaggeration rules, he'll figure out another way to dominate. That's the nature of the game. They can complain about it all they want. The Thunder are 11th in the league in free throws in the postseason. They got a lot more going for them than just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander free throws.
I'm all for a little bit of drama as well. SGA's 17 free throw attempts in Game 5 tied his playoff career high. Wendy, thank you.
Let's head to breaking news here. The NBA Board of Governors has approved the 3-2-1 lottery reform proposal to curb tanking. The new system gives the bottom 3 teams only 2 ping pong balls, while the 4 to 10 teams get 3. It also expands the lottery to 16 teams. And as promised, NBA insider Shams Charania has much more, joins us now from San Antonio. So, Shams, this is an unprecedented move here from the league and the Board of Governors. What other details can you share about the changes coming to the draft lottery?
Kev, the NBA has now become the first American pro sports league to actually penalize the teams at the bottom of the league. And so the bottom 3 teams will actually have just 2 lottery balls. So this is Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner in the league, now penalizing and punishing losing and trying to incentivize winning, because 1 to 3, as far as the bottom teams, will now have 2 lottery balls, but 4 through 10, as far as the bottom, will have 3 lottery balls. 2 other major sticking points here. You can't pick at number 1 again back-to-back years, and you can't have top 5 picks in 3 consecutive years moving forward. So you think about the Kevin Durant-led teams with the Thunder over a decade ago. That would not exist under the new guidelines. The San Antonio Spurs that we see today with Wemby, Castle, and co. That would not exist under these new guidelines, and that's why it was a 29-1 owners vote today. So it wasn't a unanimous selection, because there are still some people feeling like this is an overcorrection of sorts. But the NBA has taken a massive approach, an unprecedented approach to trying to curb tanking.
And by the way, that one team that voted against this reform, the Memphis Grizzlies, again, 29-1, this voting reform here, unprecedented. Shams with the latest around the NBA. C-Dub?
Let's go back to the NFL.
KC, that's the Spurs' dilemma tonight. They got to win, and they force a Game 7, lose, and the Thunder going to the finals for the 2nd straight year. Joe Fortenbaugh, betting analyst, has his best bets now.
All right, 3 bets for tonight's Game 6, beginning with the side, where we're going to play the Spurs -3.5 for 3 key reasons. Number 1, OKC's shooting performance in Game 5. Best of the series. They also had a series-high 38 free throw attempts. I don't expect that to happen on the road in Game 6. Number 2, Wemby. A disastrous performance by his standards. The first time he posted a negative plus-minus differential while on the court in a full game since March 1st. I don't expect that to happen again. And then finally, the health and status of A.J. Mitchell, who's out, as well as Jalen Williams. It worked for the Thunder in Game 5 without those guys. I don't think it's going to happen again. Remember what we saw in Game 4. Bet number 2, Chet Holmgren under 13.5 points. Coming off his best game of the series, 16 points on 6 of 9 shooting. The books originally opened this price at 14.5 points, but immediately took under money and reduced it to 13.5. Chet's been held to about 12 points per game in this series, and with a ceiling of 16 points, I think he falls off here in Game 6 on the road, so we bet the under. Finally, Victor Wembanyama going under 12.5 rebounds. You might ask yourself, why do you want to go under for a guy who had 24 rebounds in Game 1 and 17 rebounds in Game 2? Well, I think the books need to adjust this number further south, because in Games 3, 4, and 5, he recorded 4, 8, and 6 rebounds, respectively. He's been playing further and further away from the rim. That is a credit to Oklahoma City, and I think as a result, we can continue to hammer the under 12.5 rebounds.
Joe, thank you so much. Who you got tonight?
Okay, first of all, I would like to point out that the last time we did this, I won. OKC won. So I'm taking OKC once again.
I'm once again taking Wemby. And last game I said he was going to have a big night.
And he
actually
didn't.
meant
You're
it for
jinxing
tonight.
it.
No, it's a big night tonight. It's a
If he
big
doesn't
night
have a
tonight.
big night,
They're going to
it's all
force a game
Kev.
7. We'll see what happens. Come on, Wemby.
We'll see you tomorrow.